go. Okay, everyone, welcome back to the show on a weekend where Arsenal crumble at Southampton, where United are robbed by an absolutely atrocious penalty decision, and Leicester hit 4 against Wolves. So we're just going to go straight into it right now. So, guys, it was quite an exciting weekend this weekend. It's a lot different to last weekend where it was a little bit of a bore and all of that stuff. I said there was some exciting elements to the weekend. There's a lot of talking points. So let's go straight into it. Let's go into United versus Chelsea, as that was seen as like the big game of the weekend. So let's go straight into it. I just want to quickly touch upon what I said just then around the penalty decision. If you look at it on paper and you obviously look at the action, yes, it's a penalty, right? It's an absolute penalty. But again, like what I mentioned last week, the inconsistencies of referees is doing my absolute nutting. Yes,
yeah. If you had our ref, you would have been fine.
Exactly. Absolutely. So there was
that guy wasn't given anything. So
I know.
literally.
There was a very similar situation in the Arsenal game today. Last week there was another decision like that, for us against Newcastle with the trailing leg and things like that on Sancho. Still didn't get a penalty for that. I'm like, what actually needs to be done for these referees to be like, that is a penalty?
I mean, look at just to divert to a different game. Look at the Bernardo penalty decision. Yeah. Absolute joke. For sure. And that went to VAR as well.
Yeah. So it's just like, what is actually going on? So yeah, the ref got it right. However, I'm like, should it have been given as a penalty when 9 times out of 10, that is not given as a penalty? I'm just like, what is anywhere else on the pitch? Yes, is a foul. So technically it's a foul within what McTominay did yesterday. But the lack of consistency is mind-boggling. I'm getting so fed up with it. And that's why I said, I believe we were robbed, because we were robbed just from that decision itself. If there was all the consistencies across the games, that's given as a penalty, then this is why I don't think should be given as penalties, is because every single team does it. So there would be penalty after penalty after penalty given if we went down that route. I just think it was very, very harsh to give that penalty yesterday and not to have that same decision today.
If it was given for you, you'd be all over it. Oh, I love it. Brilliant. Great decision.
Yeah, for sure. But
so it's all subjective, isn't it?
I would still be having this same conversation. I'd still be having that same conversation. Is that
the context is you can base it literally almost literally the same thing happened today with Gabriel Jesus, both arms around him and nothing. And it's like I said last week, it's different referees have different opinions and different VAR officials have different opinions. And today it was completely different.
Yeah, no, the only difference I could see in that one is their centre-back let go of Jesus before he dropped to the ground, which kind of showed a little bit like Jesus threw himself to the floor, which, let's be fair, Jesus was doing a lot of today. But with McTominay, he kept his hands around him the whole time and almost rugby tackled him to the ground. So I can see that. But taken away from that, on par with the Tottenham game, against Chelsea, that first half, we absolutely dominated them. Absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, they had to make tactical changes to keep up with it. Yeah.
And then we lost Varane as well, which is so frustrating, man. The guy is an incredible player, but he's so injury prone. So he's going to be out until the World Cup now. So not going to see him again. So that's really frustrating. We absolutely had Chelsea there for the taking. And this is the problem. We cannot rely on Marcus Rashford to be our striker. He had 3 opportunities yesterday. We should have won that game 3-4-1, and he still didn't take his opportunities. That guy, he is brilliant off the left-hand side. As a left winger, I think he's fantastic. As a striker, no, man. No. I've got to say, if Ronaldo was put in those situations yesterday, he probably would have scored at least one of those. Rashford for me, it's more about his composure in front of goal. He doesn't seem to have it when he's like, and Anthony as well. Oh man, the guy doesn't have a right foot. He needs to get that right foot because he was through on goal and completely missed it. Really, really unfortunate, but fantastic team performance. I was very, very happy. And listen, we're in 6th place. We're, 3 points off of Tottenham. We're 8 points off Arsenal now. We're 6 points off Man City and we're 1 point off the top 4. Given we have played Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, and beaten them. We've taken a draw at Chelsea, and obviously we got humbled by Man City. That's all of the top 6 out of the way now up until Christmas. So I'm quietly confident that by Christmas we could have edged into that top 4, but I won't speak too soon. Anyway, what were your guys' thoughts in regards to the Chelsea and United performances yesterday?
I'll let you go, Tom. I've already spoken a little bit.
So I watched quite a bit of the game. I really thought you bossed midfielder really well. I thought Casemiro, he's been your missing piece. Where's he been?
Real Madrid winning Champions League.
Oh, yeah, he was. He was winning with Champions Leagues with Real Madrid. But I mean, if you could have had someone like him to boss your midfield and control it, he just did so well. To get that goal at the end, it was a class goal. It was a class goal. And you know what? Ariza Bugalaga, I can't even say his name, is Kepa. Easier. Is in good form at the moment. I think he got the best touch he could. It was such a good.
Yeah, he did everything he possibly could, and he's very close to keeping it from going over the line altogether. But it was definitely over.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought you bossed Chelsea. Like Matt said, the first half they had to take Cucurella off because you were bossing them so much in midfield, finding the space. If you can keep doing that, definitely contenders for top 10, definitely.
Top 10, you chump. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with what you said about needing a striker. I think that's where you need to look in January if Ronaldo is out the door. Obviously, there are talks that he's going to come back and apologise, but I think we can all agree that Ronaldo's time at United is done, or should be, because the future. Even Ronaldo come back to the team aside, the future isn't Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Now is the time to find somebody to get them goals, because Rashford isn't that player. Martial, injury, and Anthony, like you said, isn't very good with his right foot. I would have. I guess it would have been a bit unfair for you to lose that game. So, yeah. It was good that you did manage to get that last-minute equaliser, because I thought you deserved at least a point, if not more.
I mean, yeah, on balance, maybe a draw was the right result, because once Potter did make his tactical change and we lost Varane, Chelsea came into the game a lot more. De Gea didn't have a save to make, really. All of that sort of stuff. So Chelsea had nothing going forward. Sterling wasn't great.
Because they got Aubameyang up front.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's only scored 2 goals since he's been there. So, Chelsea offered nothing. And this is why I don't think that Chelsea's going to make the top 4. I see a lot of fan channels saying that Chelsea are going to make the top 4 along with Tottenham. I'm like, based on what, man? Like, Chelsea haven't really played anybody. Yeah? Not really played anyone. And when they have, they've come undone. So, yeah. Maybe on balance, it was the right result. 1-1 draw. I just felt that we were very, not hard done by, because we shot ourselves in our own foot, to be fair. But if we can't rely on Ronaldo, if Martial is going to keep being injury prone, then I want to see like maybe one of our youth players come in, give him an opportunity. There's this one particular youth player called Charlie McNeil, and he's unreal for the youth team. And I know that the youth team's a massive step down from the first team, but you've got to be given your opportunities. Look what happened to Martinelli. He's thrown in there, all of that sort of stuff. Nketiah's come through your academy. All of these. Dewsbury Hall for Leicester. And he's now a regularly first team player. So sometimes. And listen, this is how Rashford came onto the scene. Is we had no strikers. Look what happened. Debut in the Europa League, scored his first 2 goals against Arsenal, and now he's a first team player. So sometimes these opportunities are there for the taking. All I know is that I'm feeling really, really, really frustrated. But at the same time, I was really proud watching my team yesterday, because I was like, oh, man, we seem to have that fight about us now, which I haven't been able to say for a really, really long time. But, that's the United-Chelsea game out of the way. I think we can all agree that maybe the 1-1 draw was the right result. Okay? All right, perfect. So now, moving on to the game from today, let's go for Southampton versus Arsenal. Matt, what happened?
I'll keep it short and sweet. I was watching the first 10 minutes. I was like, this game is gonna be easy.
Yeah.
Xhaka scored, brilliant goal, and I was like, this is it. Like, perfect start to the game. And then They made a tactical change, put 5 at the back, and we couldn't do anything with the ball after that. I mean, we had some good build-up play, but it was quite hard to break them down at that point. And yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about this referee, but for me, I think he might have been a Southampton fan that won some competition. No, I mean, I'm not going to blame the referee for this because we really took our foot off the gas in the second half and we let them back into the game. And if you were basing it on that second half, they deserved at least a point because we were terrible. But I mean, it did seem that the referee was just not giving anything. Either way, I guess. I think it was a terrible refereeing performance on both sides of both teams. But yeah, we should have put the game to bed in the first half easily, and we just struggled after that first goal. Yeah. So that's all I've got to say about it, really. I don't want to say too much because I'm a little bit frustrated, and there isn't really much to say other than I'm gutted that we didn't win that game because they were there for the taking.
No, absolutely. I watched the whole game and I was thinking, because after our conversation yesterday where you were saying about Southampton's your bogey team, I was thinking, oh yeah, Southampton can definitely get something from here because they're a decent team at home. I know their results lately haven't suggested that, but they're a good team at home. I remember playing them at the start of the season and we only beat them 1-0. And then you blew them away within the first 10 minutes. I was like, oh, here we go. Jesus had that opportunity as well. And I was thinking, he's going to put one in eventually. And
Jesus keeps shooting it straight at the keeper. He needs to find them corners, mate.
Yeah, for sure. But then I noticed that there was that little tactical change. I was like, oh man, Southampton, they're starting to, boss it in the midfield now. Ward-Prowse started getting on the ball more. When you put Ward-Prowse on that ball, he's going to make he's going to dictate that play. I noticed that Adam Armstrong started getting through the core a little bit more through Saliba and Gabriel. And then Stuart Armstrong obviously popped up with his goal in the second half. And maybe it was a fair result because, Southampton didn't just roll over and take what they were getting. They kind of came back at you, and there were some good performances for them. But yeah, Arsenal should have beaten them. They should have beaten them.
Yeah, I mean, what I do know is there's a few Southampton players that I despise. I haven't seen anything from Southampton all season, but they've got a few players that are so annoying. And I'm like, you're my new worst enemy. Like this one guy that got into a fight with Nketiah. Yeah. Oh man, love him. I really hate some of these Southampton players, and I was watching the build up to the game, and they put out the team sheets, and I was like, who are these players? I don't even know half of them, and now I hate them. Southampton, my new worst enemies.
They're the new Burnley.
Yeah, some really aggressive. Well, I don't like it.
Yeah, no, this is the thing that I think went in Southampton's favour. And I quite liked it, seeing that aggression, because Arsenal are a pretty team, yeah? They like the flares, all of that. If you stop them doing that, you're going to get something from them, which they managed to do, which is fair. Tom, what did you think of the game?
I didn't watch it, and I haven't watched the highlights of it. I was too busy watching the Leicester game, to be honest.
Yeah, but it was at the same time.
I will watch the highlights of it because I'm excited to see what happened. I did watch Xhaka's goal. What I do think about Arsenal, though, I do think Southampton beat us earlier in the season, and they are a good team at out-strengthening the opponent and using the dark arts of football to win. They're a really good team at that. Like Ralph Hasenhüttl, man, he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve, kind of like Mourinho had. All those time-wasting tricks. Just the dark arts of football. And I think Arsenal need to get good at that if they're going to win the Premiership. Not only as the defense got to be in line, like we've talked about, but you've got to find a way about strengthening these type of opponents and these type of games to win the Premiership. Because I think you can. I think Arsenal can win the Premiership.
And this is the thing that I noticed is that that Arsenal are a little bit soft at times. And the only reason I say that is because Xhaka is so good at going forward right now that he's almost lost that mean streak about him, that made him get sent off all the time, made him get.
But we had to get that out of him.
Yeah, exactly. But you need to be able to find that balance. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
sure.
Gabriel has it now, right?
Yeah, for sure.
He's taken that mantle, right?
I'm sure we will see it. We will see the fight. I mean, today, I don't know. Maybe the Southampton team just really caught us off guard. We weren't expecting a fight today, and they weren't really up for it. Whereas Southampton were like, "Let's get into them," and they really did.
But I think that this is sometimes the problem with being at the top of the league is that you go into games thinking we're just going to beat this team. They're going to roll over. We're too good. All of this sort of stuff. That's where you get complacent. At least this result has happened near enough to the start of the season where maybe some of that complacency can be edged out and you might not get again. I think what you got to bear in mind is Arsenal are still 2 points ahead. Yeah. So 2 points ahead. Yeah. Maybe, once you come up against Man City and if they beat you, then they'll go a point ahead and stuff like that. But at least you're still in it to get them if and when.
Oh, yeah, of course. No, I'm not worried that that we won't still be up there. Like I said, I don't think we're going to win the league anyway. I think we can win the league, but it's not going to just take us winning games for that. Yeah. It's going to be teams dropping points and specifically Man City dropping points. So yeah, we'll see. It's very exciting stuff going on, and I think top 4 is all up for grabs, and at the bottom as well, it's changing every week, as Absolutely. Tom will be very happy about.
Yeah, which is a great way to go into Wolves versus Leicester. Tom, take it away because I'm sure you've grown a set of wings and you're flying high tonight.
Oh, I think it's just back to the old Leicester. Just watching Leicester's play.
The old Leicester.
The Leicester that won the league.
The Leicester even after that. I don't think that was the best Leicester side that won the league.
No, I don't either.
I think
your team now is way better than that team that won the league.
I think so.
It's just not really worked so far this season. But the players that you've got are great players.
No, absolutely. I think the players are now starting to wake up a little bit and are starting to, not that it's just the players, not that it's just been the manager, has been a mixture of the both. But I think the players are now they're building on the momentum. We got a good result against Leeds, which confidence is high. And those players with confidence, I mean, we've seen them beat Man City. We've seen them beat a lot of the top teams and, really destroy teams. I mean, we beat Man City that 5-3 that time, really destroyed them. And I think we've got that in the locker to do that. I know other teams have invested and we haven't. But today, what I really liked was Brendan trying different things out and it really working well over the last 4. That's 4 clean sheets now. And that's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. It's been some serious work. It should have been done last season. This should have been done the second half of last season when our defence was crying out for it. But what I liked today was Youri Tielemans has taken one for the team. He's captain. And what happens is the left and the right back, they've been bombing up, attacking, giving those options, stretching the game out, making the pitch wider. Youri Tielemans has come back into a right back position to defend. And that just gives us so much more, we've got the faster players going up. Youri Tielemans is not a fast player, but he's a good defensive player. He's shown that against Leeds especially. And he's been back and he scored literally on the goals of the season today. Yeah, I don't know if it will end up being the goal of the season, but he couldn't have hit that any cleaner if he tried. It was a really great goal. So, and I said about in the Crystal Palace game, we didn't have players who were showing moments of brilliance. And that was the issue. These great players are not showing their class, what they did today.
Hey, listen, old man Vardy got himself a goal as well.
Yeah, he did.
Turning back the clock. And then I saw a picture of him on Twitter today where they went in for a water break and he's got their can of Red Bull.
Yeah.
They don't make them like him anymore.
That was
only, mark my words, right?
2-0 in and he was having a Red Bull.
Yeah.
Mark my words, there's a few more of those that came from.
Here we go. He just
needed that confidence.
I think he's just looking for a job after football. He wants to be the Red Bull poster boy.
He don't want to go and work in, like a warehouse or anything. He's like, I've been there, done that. So, I'm going to start modelling for Red Bull,
Well, he could at least be a manager of a warehouse or something.
For sure.
But look, he's a confidence player. We've seen that. He goes through barren spells. And then when he scores that goal, he comes out of it. and we've seen it time and time again. So hopefully,
well, you have got Man City next, so
got Man City next. But Jamie Vardy loves playing against Man City. We know that. But
I mean, imagine if you beat them. That would be a story. That would be almost as good as Notts Forest and sorry, Nottingham Forest. I don't like being called Notts Forest.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Tom, here's a little question for you. Are you now Brendan in? Oh, don't do this.
No, listen, hear me out. Give credit where it's due. Okay, I still think Leicester I don't think he's the man to get the best out of this group of players. Like, I think this group of players is great. Don't get me wrong, we do need a bit of a refreshment. We do need a few players added. I don't think he's a man to get the best out of them, but he's starting to get good stuff out of them again.
Tom, here's another question for you. Have you got any splinters from sitting on the fence? Are you Brendan in? Are you Brendan out?
Splinters up your butt.
Answer the question.
All right.
I think he's in.
For the last time, then I'm going to answer your question, okay? Danny Ward, a few games ago, people were booing him, shouting at him, right? He's there, no confidence. Now, the last game, they were singing his name. They were singing his name from the crowd. Can you believe that? Can you believe that U-turn?
I'm just going to add, that you did play Wolves today, who can't score to save their lives.
Exactly.
Danny Ward may as well be sitting on a
last
chair.
week, didn't they? They did beat the team that beat Liverpool last week. So, but you are right. It was Wolves, but we have 4 clean sheets now, so that's something to get slightly optimistic about. But I do think a change is needed in management. I don't think Brendan is our long-term answer and the long-term forward direction for the club.
Okay, but are you Brendan out now? He needs to go now, because the last 2 streams I've got you on camera. You've been Brendan out, and then suddenly, you get.
He's not going to go. He's not going to go now, is he? He's not going to.
No. But the last 2 streams, he said that he's Brendan out now, and he feels like the change needs to happen now. So, are you still in that place, or are you a bit like a flake in a hot chocolate? As soon as it's in, it crumbles. It just goes away.
Okay. I'm not going to say I want Brendan out right now because I'm on top of the world. But what I will say is I still don't completely trust him. There's still a lot for him to repair.
Okay, I think that's fair enough, but if you need a ride down to accident and emergency tonight to get the splinters out, I'm happy to take you. Okay, so guys, let us know what you thought of this weekend's Premier League action. Let us know your thoughts in regards to Arsenal. Do any of you think, like me, that they're still going to win the league? Do any of you think that, like me, Brendan Rodgers needs to be out, or Leicester are going to face expulsion, relegation from the Premier League? And are you like me, where you think that Cristiano Ronaldo will end up as Golden Boot winner? I'm only joking. Anyway, so just quickly touch upon a terrific result for Nottingham Forest against Liverpool. So I hope everyone's as super happy as I am. Obviously, Matt, we were together yesterday when the result happened. Very, very ecstatic. What are you guys' thoughts?
Just flipping. I'm a new Nottingham Forest fan. Just for this week. Dean Henderson as well. I mean, he's had some stinkers this season, letting in goals all over the place, which I hope he does next week when we play him, because he made an amazing save to keep them in winning that game yesterday, and Nottingham Forest fans should be singing his name all day long.
Yeah.
I was happy to see Liverpool lose. I wasn't happy to see a strengthened Nottingham Forest side, which, by the looks of it, have found a better squad now. A squad they can start to contend with. I don't think he's had that this season. He's been experimented too much. So I'm a little bit...
Yeah, I mean, you would do when you had so many players. It would be hard to actually decide who your team is. But yeah, like you said, he seems to have settled on who it is now.
So, I mean, that's a little bit like we're watching them from a bit of a distance, us trying to get out the relegation zone, and we are out the relegation zone into 16th place, but us trying to secure mid-table, seeing other teams around us strengthen is not the best thing. But I'm happy Liverpool lost. Big time.
For sure. I think it's great. I think it's great seeing all of these Liverpool fans were like, we're going to win the quadruple, mate. To suddenly being like, we ain't winning nothing. It's brilliant. And actually, I think that they are where they belong, below Fulham. in 8th place, and I think that they're going to finish the season in 10th place. They'll be lucky to get top 10, and that's what I'm sticking to. Come at me, Liverpool fans. Anyway, let's move on to our flops and stars of the week. So let's go for our flop player and flop manager of the week. Matt, who are you saying for each prize?
Okay, so flop manager is the floppy Klopp. Yeah, definitely Klopp. I mean, if I wasn't saying Klopp during and post game, like after the final whistle was blew, I definitely was. After I heard his ridiculous excuses in his post match interview, and you knew it was coming, but the guy has not got a leg to stand on. You got beaten by the bottom of the table, and yeah, they could have scored 2. They could have scored 3.
Yep.
Like, your defence was a shambles and your attackers, you can say, oh, we've got injuries and whatever. But everybody has injuries, mate. So you just got to get on with it.
Yeah,
You've still got Salah on the pitch, who you claim is one of the best players in the world. And he can't do anything against Nottingham Forest, bottom of the table. So, yeah.
And you still got Van Dijk, you still got Salah, you still got Alisson, you still got Trent that you can eventually call upon. All of these different players that were all the ones that were going for the Champions League, the Premier League, all of that. They're still there. Still got Henderson, your best captain kind of like ever. They're winning you the Premier League and the Champions League. You still got Milner there, all of this stuff. What's happened? And it's down to the players and that stinking manager that are at fault. Mm-hmm. Tom, who's your flop manager?
I'm going for Salah as well for flop player because he missed some. Yeah.
So Kloppy and Salah-ly. Let's go with that. Okay. Tom, who's your flop?
Yeah, I've got a Klopp down as well. It was good seeing his post-match interview, wasn't it? That was funny. He was just squirming. He was just not happy. He was mad. He was like, we should have done this. And it was good seeing him that way. But flop player, Liverpool player Van Dijk. He missed. He made some silly decisions with his headers. Normally, he's good with his headers. And one time he went to pass it back to Firmino. Just head it in. You need a goal. Stop being so selfless.
Why did he do that?
He did it
it would have been brilliant if it actually was anywhere near him. But he just headed it straight past him.
Yeah.
And you're like, mate, you should have just gone for a goal there.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I think my floppies are going to be Kloppy. Jurgen Klopp, I think the consensus is that we are all on the same line there. I'm just sick of his excuses. I'm just sick of his hair. I'm just sick of everything about Klopp. I can't stand the fraud. And then I'm going to go for, I'd love to go for Trent, but he wasn't obviously playing. So I'm going to go for Van Dijk as well. I think he's so overrated. It's unreal. I don't think he can ever be put in the same category as your Vidic, as your Ferdinand, as your Tony Adams, as your Sol Campbells, even your Ledley Kings. I don't think he can be put in the same category as any of those. Maybe he can be put in eventually in the top 20 centre-backs in the Premier League. Definitely not top 2 in the world, as Liverpool fans always go on about. So Klopp and Van Dijk for me. Tom, who are your player and manager of the weekend?
So I know this is a really obvious one, but I just thought he was an absolute powerhouse. Haaland as a player. I just think his first goal, he just powered through 2 defenders who many strikers would have fallen down. They didn't even touch him, And then that penalty was like, whoa. Yeah. That penalty was, was a bullet from a gun, wasn't it? It was like, bat out of hell.
Insane. Like, the keeper had no chance. Even if he dived the right way, that ball would have took him in.
Oh yeah,
ridiculous, that player.
So you've gone for Haaland as your player. Who's your manager?
Manager is Frank Lampard. I thought I watched. I thought Everton did really well against Crystal Palace. The energy they had, the players looked really up for it, and I think Lampard's got his players to a good place. They looked organised, so he's got them to a place where they know what they're doing and they're ready to take on the rest of the Premiership season.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Who are you saying?
Yeah, I'll go for Haaland as well. I'm a little obviously Haaland because he was brilliant, but little bit torn for manager because there were some some good results for a few managers. I agree. Frank Lampard getting Everton to beat Crystal Palace 3-0. I wasn't expecting that. And then you've got whoever the new Villa manager is, Brentford 4-0 after the back of Villa's terrible start to the season. Brendan Rodgers 4-0 against Wolves. Not an easy game. It was away as well. And then Eddie Howe 2-1 at Tottenham. Excellent again. So yeah, some really, really good managerial performances. But I am going to go for the Nottingham Forest manager, who I think his name is Steve.
Yeah, Cooper.
Steve Cooper.
Yeah.
Steve Cooper. Just because getting your bottom of the table club to beat the champions of Europe, best team in the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Steve Cooper, you legend.
Steve, legendary Cooper. He shall forever be known on this channel as. Okay, so my stars are going to be, I'm going to go for Miguel Almiron. I think he's been fantastic this season. He's so consistent. He scored a great goal against Tottenham today, and he did really, really well last week. And he even got Pep and Jack Grealish to bite at him in terms of kind of like what some of their feedback was towards him, which just seems to have made him even stronger. So I'm going to go for Almiron, and then I am going to go for Eddie Howe, because he's managed to get Newcastle into the top 4. And I said right at the start of the season that Newcastle were going to be that dark horse to potentially break into the top 4. And, I'm still kind of like, I still think that they can do it, especially if they can get some more players in January, because they've got whatever amount of money that they want. They can spend millions and millions, and if they're still in the top 4 come January, they'll be able to say to maybe even a Frankie de Jong, be like, yeah, it didn't even all it's not all working out at Barcelona. You sat on the bench, come to Newcastle, we're in the top 4, looks like we're going to get Champions League. You can have this contract, you can even be captain in the club. There's an incentive.
They don't need Frankie de Jong when they've got Bruno Guimaraes. That player is
he's brilliant.
Somebody we should have bought.
Absolutely. I think a lot of players will be saying that come the end of the season. So yeah, I'm going for double Newcastle today to say Eddie Howe and Miguel Almiron. Okay, so thought we would end the stream today looking at, over the last 11 games, who makes it in to our team of the season so far. Just, we're quarter of the way through the season. So who makes it into our team of the season so far? So we're not going to have club bias here. It's going to be individual performances, looking at stats. We're going to back up our arguments, and then we're each going to say who we would put in. And then we're going to decide as a group who makes each slot, who makes each position. So Matt, I think I'll come to you first. Who is your goalkeeper of the season so far over the last 11 games?
I'm going for Nick Pope.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Conceded the fewest goals. I believe he has saved a couple of penalties.
He has, yeah,
already this season, that have been important as well. And I think he's a great keeper. And Newcastle have made a great purchase there. Or was he free? Was he free?
No, I think they bought him.
Okay, well, either way, he's playing for a decent team now, not flipping Burnley. I think him playing in a Newcastle team that has got some great players in. Yeah, he could be one of the main reasons that they finish high in the table, because I think he's a great keeper.
Yeah.
It's about time that he's actually able to play for a decent team.
Definitely. I think it's going to be a tough decision between him and Ramsdale for number 1 for the World Cup, that's for sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely.
Tom, who are you saying?
I mean, I'd say Nick Pope as well, because he's made, he equals Edison in terms of clean sheets 5, but he's made a lot more saves. He made 37 saves, so he's top 6 for saves. So really, a lot of clean sheets there, and quite a lot of saves, which means his defence isn't as good as the Man City defence. Generally, I know the defense, Newcastle looked good defensively today. I watched that game, but still, he has to make a lot more saves than Edison. So I think he definitely deserves a top spot, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I didn't go for Nick Pope, but I'm happy for him to be in there. I went for David De Gea. No, I'm joking. I went for David Raya for Brentford because he's got 4 clean sheets, but he's saved 56 shots.
Yeah.
So he's actually been the most active of the goalkeepers, and he's had some fantastic kind of statistics. But I'm happy to go for Nick Pope. So that is our first one cemented and locked in. Nick Pope as our goalkeeper of the season so far. So let's go on to right back. Matt, who are you going for? No, sorry, Tom, we'll go with you. Sorry, right back.
Right back.
Yeah.
So this guy plays both, but I think João Cancelo, right back. I think absolutely solid. Can do a job in defence. He's not like Alexander-Arnold, where he's not great defence. He is actually a good defender. He's very quick, and he's extremely good at bombing up, overtaking onto the wing, and just doing some damage in attack.
Okay, so João Cancelo. Matt, who are you going for?
So I have got Cancelo in my team, but he typically plays left back. I've gone for Trippier on right back.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've gone for Trippier.
Yeah, because defensively he's good, amazing going forward, best free kick taker in the league.
Yeah, I've gone for Trippier as well. I don't think there's many that kind of like go above him in terms of the right back position. He's an excellent crosser of the ball, very dangerous from set pieces. He's already got 3 assists this season, and he's scored as well. And for me, he's probably Newcastle's most creative player. Everything seems to tick through him, and he can defend as well. So it's double Newcastle, goalkeeper and right back go to Nick Pope.
My whole team is Newcastle, actually.
Okay. So let's go for centre backs. So I'm going to go for, I don't think you can really look past this guy. I'm going to go for Saliba. I think he's an excellent defender. I think that he's transformed Arsenal's defence. He barely makes a mistake. He chips in with a couple of goals as well. He's strong and he's quick. I can't think of too many who've been better than him this season. Matt, I'm sure I know who you're going for.
Yeah, centre back number 1, Saliba. Do you want my centre back number 2, or are we doing?
No, we'll go to Tom first. Tom, who are you going for?
Right.
I'm happy for Saliba to be in there. I mean, who else have I got? I think Saliba is probably a better choice than who I thought. I didn't actually pick this guy on statistics. I picked Lisandro Martinez based on the impact he had, immediate impact on defence, and what he's done for the Man United defence. That's why I picked him.
That's fair. Okay.
As number 1.
All right. So, Matt, we'll come to you for your second centre back.
I've gone for Ruben Diaz. It was either him or Martinez, but I felt like I had to put a Man City centre back in there, and I think he's the best. He's the best that they've got. I was very close to putting Martinez because I agree with Tom, the way that he has transformed Manchester United's defence, and I just love the fight. I said earlier I hate players that have too much fight, but I think he's got a nice kind of balance because he's a good player and he's got the passion that you would expect from somebody playing for a top team. So, but I have gone for Ruben Diaz.
Yeah. So I've gone for Martinez. I can't look past him. I think he's up there with Saliba's probably the 2 best centre backs in the league currently. I think he's completely transformed Manchester United's defence alongside Varane. And he's so aggressive as well, but he does it in a really kind of almost beautiful way at the same time. Like the dark arts, like I don't know if you saw it, but up against Mason Mount yesterday, he just looked around. He's like, "You're saying anything to me, and I'm going to nut you." And then Liverpool comes in and saves Mason Mount. And the guy, for sure. And the guy, everyone was ridiculing him at the start of the season because he's 5'9". He ain't going to be able to do anything. And I can't think of anybody, even Haaland, that has individually gone up against him and battered him. No one has done it because what he does so well, I don't know if you see it, but he uses his body so good. Like he knows Haaland's 6'4", whatever it is, but he'll just back into him and stuff like that. And Haaland, if you look at it, all of his goals came from Varane and Lindelof's side. It didn't come from Martinez. And I can't think of any player that has bossed Martinez. And he's a brilliant passer of the ball and he carries it so well. And he's got 4 clean sheets. So, Martinez would make it into my team. Ruben Diaz, I wouldn't be opposed to him. I don't think he's done enough, really. I've not been like, oh, you're amazing. Maybe last season, yeah, but this season I haven't. So, Tom, what are your thoughts?
Martinez.
I'm happy to go with Saliba and Martinez.
Sure. This is the thing, Matt.
Number two. Is this number two?
Yeah.
The second one. See, I kind of think to myself, Saliba is really great, and he scored 2 goals as well. I can appreciate that, and you need someone who's got a bit, if you're having 2 centre backs, in terms of the dream team, you want someone who's got high stats. And I tell you, someone who is knocking out the park with stats. I know they're not the greatest team, but James Tarkowski. I mean, he's got the highest stats with blocks. He's second in the air. I know that they get battered a lot with their defense, but he's amazing. I just think someone like him and someone like Martinez together, would be a more rounded team than a Saliba and a Martinez. Saliba hasn't quite got the experience. He's not.
But we all went for Saliba, though. We can't not have Saliba.
That's it. For me, it's Saliba, Martinez. Like Saliba, he's so quick. Tarkovsky's not.
He does give you more in attack. He gives you more in attack.
But I think defensively, Saliba's better as well because he's stronger. I think that Tarkowski gives a lot going forward as well. I think, aerially, he's really, really good. I think as a balance, though, Saliba and Martinez, they've got it. For me, I rate Varane and Saliba, Varane and Martinez as a collective. They've done so well. I think if Saliba came into Man United's team or Martinez went into Arsenal's team, I don't think that you would notice a change too much. I think that they would both dominate. So I think we should be putting Martinez in there just because Tom had said that he was already as one of his centre backs. Otherwise, we're at deadlock really. We've got Martinez, Diaz, and Tarkowski. What do we think?
I mean, I like Saliba. I mean, he's a mainstay in my FPL team, so I do like him.
Okay, so we'll go for Saliba and Martinez as our partnership, which is really interesting because that could have been Arsenal's. It could have been. I actually found left back to be the hardest of everything, because I don't think Cancelo's been that great, if I'm honest. I don't think he's been the Cancelo of the last 2 seasons. I have gone for Cancelo because I couldn't think of anyone else, if I'm to be honest. So Cancelo is mine. Tom, who's yours?
So Cancelo plays both, and he has played both for a lot for Man City. I know traditionally he is left back though, but he does play.
So who have you gone for?
So actually, I've got him as right back. On my left back, I actually really like. I know he's injured. He has been injured, but Zinchenko. I just thought.
I was thinking of Zinchenko, but then he hasn't. He's not been playing. He hasn't been playing.
I know.
So
I thought when he has played,
he's not played enough.
For sure.
He's not played enough. He's not played enough.
Exactly. That's why I didn't. Well, not the only reason I didn't pick him. I think Cancelo's better. Zinchenko has, for when he was playing and was fit, he was contributing really well to the Arsenal team.
Was that purely fitness reasons, or is there?
No, he's injured, but he should be back soon.
So that is purely injury reasons,
And he'll come straight back into the team because we can see that Arteta isn't going for Tierney at the moment. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
Because he's going for Tomiyasu, who's usually a right back. So yeah, Zinchenko. I think Arteta he's already decided that Zinchenko is our main left back.
Yeah. Okay. So Matt, who are you going for in left back?
Cancelo. Yeah.
Okay. So we've got Cancelo at left back. Okay. So if we move on to the midfield, CDM. This was the hardest one for me as well. Up there with left back. I think for me, there's only 3 potential candidates, which is Casemiro, Rodri, and Thomas Partey. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a case forward for Casemiro because I checked out all of the stats today.
Yeah.
And Casemiro, he's got 1 goal and 1 assist. 50% of Casemiro's forward passes are progressive and leads to goal-scoring opportunities, phases of play. Casemiro is also the leading defensive midfielder for aerial duels won, blocks made, and tackles this season. And he's just above Thomas Partey, having played 2 games less. And Rodri statistically is down in 3rd. So that would be my argument for Casemiro because he's completely transformed that midfield of ours.
I've got him down for the same reason. Big fan.
I was going to go for No, not going to go. I had the same thought. Casemiro, I think, is up there, but purely based on the fact that he hasn't played as many games, I thought maybe wait and see. After when we do this halfway through the season and see. So I have got Partey down because he is vital to our team. Like when he doesn't play, we got a lot less chance of winning because everything goes through him. Defensively brilliant, and then going forward, everything goes through him. So I've gone for Partey, but if you've both gone for Casemiro, then I've got no problem with going for Casemiro.
I've got no problem putting Partey in there because, like I said, he's only just below Casemiro in terms of the stats. The only thing that I put Casemiro ahead of was the fact that he's got better stats with 2 games less. That's the thing that I kind of really did.
True. I mean, Partey did score an amazing goal against Tottenham as well.
That's very true, but Casemiro scored an amazing header last night. So, but I give it the fact that Thomas Partey's was very, very good.
I guess it's up to you, Tom. You can decide.
I think for myself, who would I rather have on my side if I was to be a manager and organise a team? It'll probably be Casemiro because of his experience, and also I think for myself I know Partey is he's absolutely crucial to the operations at Arsenal, but I think Casemiro coming to Man U is a game changer for them.
Okay, that's fair, but I think we can all agree that if it was Casemiro or Thomas Partey, we wouldn't have any arguments.
No.
Yeah,
not really.
Okay, so if we then move on to our 2 centre midfielders, so we can say both our centre midfielders now. Matt, who are you going for?
Kevin De Bruyne, obviously.
Yeah.
And I've gone for Bruno Guimaraes.
Okay, all right.
I wasn't exactly sure if he was a CDM or I think he's more of an
attacking midfielder.
Exactly. So I'm going for him because I think he is, another great reason why Newcastle are doing good things this season. And a player that I constantly worry about because when we played him, when we played Newcastle last season, he popped up, scored against us, and I'm not looking forward to playing Newcastle. To be fair.
Mm-hmm. They're special. We played them and they weren't that great, but I'm pretty sure that when Arsenal come up against Newcastle, you will beat them. But Tom, who's your 2 centre midfielders?
So I've got De Bruyne with 2 goals and 9 assists.
Mental. Absolutely.
It's good. I mean, I've also got. He probably doesn't count as a centre midfielder. Because he's been playing a lot more forward, like number 10 position. But James Maddison. Because he's got 6 goals and 2 assists, and it's been in the poor Leicester side. Remember that. He's not had Haaland's around him, De Bruyne's around him, like Phil Foden has. Phil Foden scored 6 goals with 3 assists. Mason Mount has scored 2 goals, 2 assists. So I think Maddison has had to carry that Leicester team and score when people around him have not been performing. So that's why I think Maddison out-trumps.
I did think Maddison, but it's hard to select a player that's so near to the bottom of the table. But I agree.
But if Southgate can pick him for the England squad, well, if people are putting pressure on Southgate to pick him for the England squad, I mean, he surely should.
Yeah, no.
I still don't think he's going to make it in the England squad.
But it's
just too many players around.
It's an absolute joke if Mason Mount makes it ahead of James Maddison.
2 goals, 2 assists. Mason Mount scored this season.
Yeah, exactly. James Maddison deserves to be in there ahead of Mason Mount for sure. But I did have James Maddison on there, but he's actually on my bench because I've actually put in Granit Xhaka. I think if you look at the overall turnaround of this guy that was the club captain, he gets stripped of it. The fans are calling for his head. He gets booed off at the Emirates, comes back, and this season has been completely revolutionised. Everything that Arsenal do. I think that Xhaka should be right up there, man. I think that, he should be in that centre midfield spot. So we've currently got James Maddison, Bruno Guimaraes, and Xhaka for that 1 midfield spot. What are we saying?
Oh, I mean, I should just say Granit Xhaka and then we'd be in.
I think for me, Bruno shouldn't be in there because he's only got 2 assists and 2 goals. Okay. Whereas if you look at Xhaka, he's got 3 goals and 2 assists. But James Maddison does have, how many goals is it? 5,
6
6
goals, 6 goals, 2 assists,
and 2 assists. So that he's got 8 goal contributions. So if we are going to go statistically,
I mean, his goals have been brilliant. You know what I mean? Consistently.
But then you could also argue, well, Arsenal are top of the league, and Xhaka has been a massive part. If they hadn't had Xhaka today, Southampton would have won. Because Arsenal won't create anything else. So, I'd be happy with either Xhaka or Maddison. So I'd leave it up to you guys to fight that out.
Xhaka used to be my least favourite player of Arsenal. That's the
I know, mate. Like, that is the painful thing for you because you hated Granit Xhaka, but now I know that you secretly love him.
I like him, but the thing is, I like him, but I was always conflicted with him because he had played for Switzerland, this more attacking position, and I think Arteta's just cracked the code. He's like, hold on a minute, why has this guy been playing so far like deep down the pitch? Why not just let him play like he plays?
I know, but you've got to look at last season when we lost Thomas Partey for so long.
True,
and we didn't have somebody reliable, and it's kind of it's like in Granit Xhaka's Arsenal identity. Since Wenger signed him, he was a CDM. He even fooled Arsenal fans into saying he was a CDM. But actually, yeah, you're right. He isn't a CDM. He's that in between. But I mean, you look at him now. He's in the box more frequently than flipping most of our team. He's really like trying to get on the end of everything and just sniffing out a goal whenever he can.
I think
James Maddison, because of his goal contribution in comparison to Granit Xhaka's, obviously 3 goals, 2 assists, amazing assist for Gabriel Jesus against Brentford, which was another brilliant reason why Granit Xhaka is having a good season. But even though Granit Xhaka plays for Arsenal, and I should just say Granit Xhaka would be through and he'd be in the team, I'm going to go for James Maddison.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think this one should purely come down to statistics. He does have more goal contributions than Xhaka, so James Maddison will go into our team of the season so far. I think the easiest one out of this is the striker. Can't look past Haaland. Yeah, no one.
Of course not.
Yeah, 17 goals and 2 assists. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous for 11 games in. Can everyone agree on Haaland? If Tom says Vardy, I'm going to slap him.
Hasn't Kane got more goals?
Huge jump.
Kane's got 10.
Has Kane scored any goals that weren't penalties, or did he just?
Wait, he scored today, didn't he?
No.
Scored ahead of
No, definitely Haaland. All day.
Yeah. Okay, so if we move on to right and left wing, Matt, who are you going for?
Okay, so my left wing wasn't a struggle. I've gone for Martinelli. I don't really think there's that many to choose from. I'm intrigued to see.
There is. I can't look past Phil Foden.
Okay, wait, no, 1 second, right? 1 second. I have got Phil Foden in my team, but I wasn't sure which side
he plays off the left. Plays off the left.
Is he actually left winger though?
He's a left winger. So him and Jack Grealish always alternate.
Okay, all right.
So
okay, well, I'm saying Martinelli then.
Okay.
But I also have got Foden on the right.
Okay, all right. That's fair.
So like when you're playing FIFA Ultimate Team and you can't get both players in, so you just put a left winger on the right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Tom, who would you go for left wing?
Yeah, I've got Foden down because it was kind of attacking. I knew he played attacking midfield, left wing, comes from the left. But I mean, I know statistically wise, you're not going to agree, and you probably, I know I hate this team as well. I'm really glad they lost today. But I've got Son as a left wing.
No, not this season.
Not this season.
Not this season. Not this season.
It's team of the season.
It's team of the season. We're not just picking players because they're supposed to be good.
But I mean, okay, this season so far, yeah, I suppose not.
Definitely.
Son is having the worst season of his entire career.
Absolute shocking. Like, he's a fraud at the moment.
He doesn't get on with Perisic. He doesn't get on with him.
He doesn't look like he gets on with absolutely anybody. He doesn't get on with the football either. He's shocking.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that. I mean,
such a
Son
drop-off.
was like one of the best players in the world last season.
I ain't letting Son get anywhere near this team, even reserves.
All right, it was just an honorary mention for how good he has been.
Yeah, for sure. He has been very good, but not this season.
2 goals and I think.
He
scored a hat trick.
He scored a hat trick against Leicester. Yeah, we were just.
Okay, so I've gone for Foden. I have gone for Foden. And the reason for that is because he's got 6 goals and 3 assists. That's 9 goal contributions. I did originally have Martinelli down because he's got 4 goals and 2 assists, but he goes too quiet in games for me. You know, I've really been watching Martinelli, been really watching him. He does really well for the first 20 minutes. Then completely goes off the boil, just like he did against Southampton today. He makes some cute little passes, makes his good runs, but no one picks him out. So he goes really, really quiet. And that's probably the reason why he didn't get into my team today. Whereas Foden is a consistent threat all of the time. So shall we put Foden in?
Yeah, we can put Foden in there.
Okay. And then right wing, which again, I think that this is a difficult one as well. Tom, who are you going for right wing?
I found this really easy.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean, just the way he's been playing the last 5 games, Saka, for me, I think he just bosses it. And I think he's going to do really well this season. But I know he didn't have the best start to the season, but I think he's got to be in the running.
Yeah, well, Saka would have been in my team if I didn't put Martinelli on the left and Foden on the right, because Saka is on my bench. Yes, we've already spoke about it on here that Saka didn't have an amazing start to the season. I was always fighting his corner because he's still contributing, but now he's also scoring and getting some assists as well. And, you know, if he doesn't start in that position for England, like Gareth Southgate has no idea what he's doing, because there isn't anyone else that can play that position unless you put Phil Foden on the right.
Yeah, I actually found this one really difficult because for me it was between Saka and Almiron for Newcastle, because he's got
Almiron has had a good
goals
season
now. He's got 6 goals in a Newcastle side that don't create as many opportunities as Arsenal. So it was between him and Saka, but I have gone for Saka purely based on the goal contributions, which is 4 goals and 4 assists, which is pretty impressive within the first 11 games. Again, he's very similar to Martinelli, goes really quiet during the game, which is what he did again today. It's almost like Arsenal get all of their work done in the first half, and then it's like, what else now, you know? And I think that Martinelli and Saka contribute towards that. But I don't think, apart from Almiron, that there's anybody that we could put at right wing, because Mahrez doesn't play enough. You know, Anthony, he was up there for me because he got his first 3 goals in his first 3 games. But it's because he hasn't got any assists yet, and it's because he can't use his right foot, whereas Saka seems to be able to use both feet. Even though, you know, his right foot's better than his left, he can still use both feet. I think, you know, it'll be interesting to see where we're at the end of the season between Saka and Anthony, because Anthony, for me, you know, he's just insane coming off of, you know, putting it onto his left foot. Like every shot that he does is so close to going in, you know, but I am going to go for Saka. So that is our team of the season. So let's just quickly go for our 3 subs. So I've gone for Almiron. I've gone for Harry Kane because he's got 10 goals and 1 assist. And I've also got, which I think is really unlucky not to get into the starting team, I've gone for Leandro Trossard. I think he's been brilliant. He's got 6 goals and 1 assist in a Brighton team. You know, so I think that he's a very worthy mention for the bench. Matt, which 3 players are you saying?
So obviously, because Saka's in the team and Martinelli isn't, I'm going to say Martinelli for the bench. I also had Martinez on the bench, but he's in the team. And I've gone for Gabriel Jesus, even though his goal and assist contribution isn't up there in comparison with Harry Kane. But I'm never saying Harry Kane.
What?
Because I hate him.
No way. Okay, fair enough. Tom, who are you going for?
So I had Saliba down, Trossard, and Ivan Toney.
Yeah, I was also thinking Trossard as well. I love Trossard. I love him at Arsenal.
Yeah, Trossard's great. Okay, so Trossard makes it onto our bench. I do think that Martinelli should make it onto the bench, if I'm honest, because, statistically, up against Foden, there's not really a match there, but he is, for me, the next one down. It might be surprising, but Rashford is only just behind Martinelli in terms of goal contributions and overall statistics, which is quite surprising. But I would go for Martinelli. So hopefully everyone's in agreement with that. I'm sorry, but I can't put Gabriel Jesus in that. I just can't.
No,
I just don't think he's done what he should have done. I don't know if you agree, Tom, but I think Harry Kane should be in there because he's got 10 goals and
the second highest goal scorer.
Yeah. So and I then think we can all agree that Lissandro Martinez, whatever his name is, Trossard should be in there as well.
Leandro
Trossard, yeah, absolutely. So here is our team. We've got Nick Pope in goal, Kieran Trippier at right back, William Saliba, Lissandro Martinez, João Cancelo, Casemiro, Kevin De Bruyne, James Maddison, Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, and Bukayo Saka with Martinelli, Harry Kane, and Leandro Trossard on the bench. So there we go. And I think we should also say manager of the season so far. For me, there was only two options. I think I could have put a case forward for Erik ten Hag, but I think it's too early yet because, he's played all of the top six. And other than Man City, he's taken points from everybody. And he's not just taken points from them, he's really taken the game to them as well, which has been really impressive. But it is too early yet. I think that the only ones that could be up there, other than your Pep Guardiolas, is Arteta and Eddie Howe. That's kind of like who I'm putting forward. So if Arteta or Eddie Howe for me is where I'm at. So Tom, who are you going for?
I'm going for Arteta.
Yep.
Easy.
Yep. I mean,
you've made my decision even easier. Eddie Howe. No. I mean, let's not take it away from the man. Like, flipping, he's doing a great job at Newcastle, and he hasn't got worldies in the team. They're all doing a job. He's got some good players that he can build around, and he's making. I mean, Almiron, he's been at Newcastle for a couple of seasons, and he's been shocking.
Yeah.
But now look at him. You can't just say that something's just clicked, like something's working for that team. So yeah, Eddie Howe, rightful to get a mention, but Arsenal top of the league, where last season we didn't even make Champions League, and Arteta's got Arsenal playing some good football, and the team seems to be gelling much more. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's fair. So Arteta will take manager of the season so far with 9 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss to United and Erik ten Hag. Okay, so then on the back of that, if we think about the overall team of the season as well, can we all agree that Arsenal have been that overall team of the season as well?
Something just I want to mention, I think Arsenal have been so good, it's because they've been good as a collective. Not one person. It's not like the Jesus show. There's like Saliba scored a few goals. Granit Xhaka's contributed. Martinelli's contributed. Partey's contributed. It's been a real collective. No one is there like challenging for top goal scorer in Arsenal right now. And they don't need to. They're that good as a collective. That's why they're my best team so far. It's because everyone is pitching in.
It's one of them things. Like, it's nice to get a golden boot. Like, it's nice. Like, when Aubameyang got golden boot for us, I was like, that's pretty cool. I mean, he had to share it with Salah and Mane, which was a little bit annoying. But I'd much rather just see everybody just contributing, everybody getting goals, everybody chipping in. I don't care if it's Granit Xhaka. I don't care if it's William Saliba. Like, let's just score some goals and win the league. Come on, let's go.
He scored the highest amount of goals, 26 goals, to Man City's 36. Yeah. So you are second highest,
But that's the thing. That's what might come back to bite them in the butt come the end of the season. Is Man City do keep on winning, and they've got Erling Haaland, who will get that golden boot. Could he also get in the Premier League as well? That's the only thing that we should be talking. But based on the here and now, Arsenal tick all of those boxes. It'll be really interesting to see where we are come like Christmas, if Arsenal are still in there, because you've got some tricky games coming up, don't you, before the World Cup?
So we've got Nottingham Forest next, and then we've got Chelsea, and then we've got Wolves, I believe.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where you're at against Chelsea. And then obviously, it could have been different given that if your Man City game hadn't been postponed. But here we are. Let's see where you are in the new year, see where we're at. And then I'm sure we can all agree that the flops of the season has been Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool, because there's been such a massive drop-off. It's been unreal. And like I said earlier, they deserve to be where they are. And I'm hoping for relegation, if I'm honest, but that's just me.
Okay, wow.
Okay.
I mean, I would love to see the decline continue. But yeah, even for them to be where they are now is bad. And I'm just sick of the excuses. Just own up to the fact that your team is off the boil and try and change it, because he didn't seem to. He just wants to make excuses. In his head, Liverpool should be flipping top of the league, but everything's going against him. It's not his fault. Come on, it's a load of rubbish.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just got to take a look at yourself and admit you are where you are, and only you can change it, and only your team members can change it as well. Okay, so excellent.
Wait, who was Tom's?
Oh, Tom, who was your flops?
Well,
it surely can't be anyone different.
We've got flop managers, right? And there's managers doing worse than your.
But you got to do pound for pound, surely. It can't just be like your Aston Villa manager or anything like that. It's got to be pound for pound. Resources.
True. Okay, in terms of resources and what Liverpool have behind them, I mean, it's pretty bad where they are right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think for myself, as much as the last 4 games have been good, Brendan Rodgers really threw a lot of players under the bus. really created some bad times for the. I'm not saying it was just him, because it wasn't. They're heading in a better direction. I should be more optimistic, but for a while now, for a long time, well, for a little while, it was looking Brendan Rodgers was the flop of the season. But the last 4 games, he's kind of rescued that. But I wanted to put that as a mention. He's still not out of the woods yet.
That's fair. But
I would say Klopp has saved him, because obviously how bad Liverpool have been. I mean, David Moyes as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for goodness' sake, West Ham where they were last season.
Yeah.
But I do think pound for pound, Klopp is a flop at the moment. Plus, I love saying that, so I'm going to go with it. And also, I don't like Leicester, but my hatred for Liverpool will always put them at the bottom every opportunity that I get. So, okay, everybody, that is the end of the show today. Thanks for everyone joining in today. Please let us know who you think should go into your team of the season, and we will see you guys next time.